Round of 16.
It's my turn now.
GSL Season 2, Code S, Renaissance.
All right, welcome back. We just wrapped up Classic versus RagnaroK. Classic wins, no surprises there, but what is a pleasant surprise is that RagnaroK has continued to improve. He's looking good, and I think he still has a very realistic chance to get out of this group.
Absolutely. Even if Classic falls to the loser match at the end, I think that RagnaroK is almost a coin flip against him with those games we just saw. Anyways, let's get into this next match. It's going to be Hurricane, who is another player just like RagnaroK right now that has been good for quite some time, but is finally rising to that level on the GSL stage. And he's going up against a true legend.
Who could that be, Artosis?
Tasteless. He's going up against Tasteless, everybody. This is going to be the quickest 2-0 we've ever seen.
I was going to say that would not be very exciting.
Tasteless just starts by floating his command center to the corner. That's how I live the longest.
So he's going up against FanTaSy. This is a StarCraft 1 god. This was one of the best StarCraft 1 Terrans there ever was. He had incredible builds, incredible strategies that really innovated the way that we see and understand RTSs. Now, while the vast majority of the top-tier StarCraft 1 players have either stayed in StarCraft 1 or gone back to StarCraft 1, especially with the Remastered being out and a lot of these players participating in sister tournaments like the ASL, or the KSL. In this case, FanTaSy stayed. He said, this is the game for me. And, with all that being said, he hasn't actually done that well in StarCraft 2, not as well as he's hoped. But we're going to see if he finally catches his stride, because if he can do what he did in StarCraft 1, it's going to be insane.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We're now ready to go into Game 1 on Kings Cove, Hurricane versus FanTaSy.
게임이 시작됩니다.
Of course, they have vetoed all the fun maps.
Hurricane.
Yeah, I'm just going to see how angry I can make pro gamers in a couple sentences here.
Go ahead.
I think we should make them play on those maps, and I think that the War Prism should have a lift-up range +1.
Player 1, FanTaSy.
What do you guys think about that?
Hopefully we'll have some more of those new maps that we haven't unpacked.
Eventually.
It will eventually happen, but this is, to what Artosis is saying, here's kind of the problem for the pro. These guys, from Canada. Thank you for coming down. We love you. When you're one of these pro gamers and everything's on the line and you play nonstop all day, every day, because it's your job, you want to play on one of the maps you just know really well, because you're playing to win, to take every tool that you have, every asset that you have, and use it to your advantage. And so what we're having here on both sides is the pro gamers vetoing the new maps because they're not as comfortable on them.
Mm-hmm. But at that same time, right, if you are worse than your opponent, maybe you should not. Only to see a Terran get Protoss. Well, we'll see about that.
Hold out hope, guys.
Yeah.
I know that you guys are all hoping that it's going to be an even number of races to get to the round of 8. I'm actually hoping the tournament's ruined and we have only Protosses, okay? So everybody's got a different angle here.
Well, Super Tournament was so great, I just want to do that again.
Yeah. I don't understand PvP enough yet. I need a few more.
Yeah.
When's the last time we really had, kind of lopsided race dominance in StarCraft 2? I'm not talking about when Reddit thought that was. I mean, when it actually was happening in results. I guess we had it a lot in TVT and Wings of Liberty. There was a period
Wings
where
of Liberty, there was a ludicrous amount of Terrans getting far. I think there was a period of Zergs as well. It matters regions, though, also.
Okay, I'm just going to act like nothing happened there.
Yeah, no, it seems like everything's actually fine. It's maybe our system lagging a little bit. We're going to switch to music and see if that helps.
Yep, let's get some Terran music playing here. Yeah, that stops the bug.
But yeah, it matters region-wise as well, right?
Yeah.
Like, the thing is, we generally just speak about Korea, but, you know, like in Europe, Zergs obviously do very well. There's a lot of top-end Zergs there. Korea has a lot of very good Protoss players, and they're doing very, very well right now.
Yeah, this is a funny thing that...
Oh, go ahead. In the TVT dominance era, the Terran dominant era, that was like many of our very top players were Terran, and they probably would have been if they played another race too, you know?
Yeah. It was also very dependent on who was playing what at the time, and who switched over to what. And that's actually always been a theme with different servers. I think it's beginning to get a little bit lower here because everybody's internet's getting better and the world's becoming more and more connected, which means it's more of a doable thing to actually play somebody from any region. Even if there's minor lag, you could at least get acquainted.
Yeah.
You know, with the play styles of what's going on there. Where there was periods of time. I mean, the StarCraft franchise is about 21 years old now, so there's been periods where you really had completely isolated parts of the world where they. China was always a good example of this, where obviously there's so many Chinese players in the world, but China, great Chinese players would show up to tournaments and they were doing stuff completely different. It wasn't as good as what the Koreans were doing, but it was weird and hard to deal with. And I think we're going to see that kind of lessen over time, but we still have that same idea. Like European Zergs absolutely play a certain way. Korean Protosses seem to be overall more successful.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look at what's going on here. Very standard 3-gate blink with Robo here from Hurricane into a third base, whereas FanTaSy actually opening up with a Widow Mine drop. He is bringing his Reaper in maybe to draw attention so he can get the mine drop off. Let's see if that works out. Okay,
Ooh,
see the Stalkers start to leave and then they think better of it. Yeah, it doesn't seem like that's going to work out so well.
He actually made a little bit of a mistake there. The Stalkers didn't quite snipe down the one. Oh, hold on. Oh!
Good try.
Okay, I thought he might actually get that. That would have been a huge deal had he actually taken that out. Yeah, the Stalkers didn't quite snipe down the one Widow Mine. But yeah, as an idea, there's something we've seen a lot of. Okay, he's going to try to hunt this down. Now let's see where the medevac is going to go. It's curving over here. Is it going to go all the way back to the main? Oh, my God.
Oh,
Great play. You know, it's so rare you see that happen. You got to keep in mind as well is that players can just burrow the mines in the pursuit before they get there, and you can end up losing the Stalkers that way. So that was really impressive. Hurricane actually went out on the map and shot that down, and that's going to be a very tilting moment there for FanTaSy.
Ooh, FanTaSy's going mech against Protoss. King's Cove, a good map for this. We've seen a lot of mech play here against Protoss.
Yep.
He's got a lot of Marines roaming with this Raven, which might make him think that this is not, in fact, mech.
And so this is actually different from mech styles of the past, where a lot of times it was, it was pick one, mech or bio, and then you committed to that throughout the game. In this style that we're seeing now, the specific one that we're seeing now, you make a small amount of bio units, and as Artosis was saying, it can mislead the player, but it also gives you a certain set of tools in a specific point of the game, with the Raven and the Marines, and then you just switch completely and totally into that mech.
Well, it looks like Hurricane wants to do an attack coming up.
And in this tech switch, we got to figure out, does Terran have a soft spot here?
Well, +1 armor and charge being done and this many Blink Stalkers, it's like kind of scary.
Yeah.
If FanTaSy just straight dies to this, that's going to feel really weird. He's making a lot of units.
Yeah. Remember, the blink's done here.
Oh, gosh. He's catching him right here.
Oh,
actually, he might break that.
Okay, here we go. Looks like the Raven almost taking out the Zealots. Are going to try to swarm in now. The tank's getting surrounded.
Yeah. He's got to lift that command center off. This is going very poorly.
The tanks. There should be another blink here shortly. And we have an unload over here inside the main as more Warpins are coming. Oh, my God. He just won.
Man.
Damn.
Yeah, that's rough.
Okay, I got a lot to say about this, so we might have to wait for the break. Let's see if Terran can actually survive this. The problem is Protoss is basically just here on top of production.
Yeah.
GG. Hurricane takes game one. Okay, so what we were talking about kind of led up to how that game ended. So you have a player who's doing kind of the more modernized, tricky mech switch, and what you do is you're halting all your infantry production, you're switching, you're making all these factories. You do have tanks spread out, but he's taking a third at the same time.
Yeah.
He's moving out, the tanks aren't sieged,
Yeah.
And that is literally everything that can go wrong,
Yeah.
for the mech player. Normally when you go mech, whether you started out doing it or you're switching into it, there's this period where you actually are impotent on the map. You can't really do anything.
Yeah.
You're basically just trying to not die to everything until you can get it set up. And, trying to take a third base, it didn't seem like he was aware that there was stuff right out. Yeah, he just, he kind of dum. I'll just expand over here.
Yeah.
And got ran over. And specifically, Stalkers with Blink, a Warp Prism, Zealots with Speed. No.
Yeah.
No. You're not going to live through that.
No, it was rough. He needed to know where the army was. He didn't know, and he died for it. Okay. Going on to map number 2. We'll see if FanTaSy can pull something better than dying like that out. I mean, it's rough.
Indeed. Let's see if FanTaSy can pull something better than dying like that right out.
Pull it right out of his pocket, man, out of his back pocket. He's like, ha ha! And he dies in a much better way here.
All right, game 2 is ready. Let's do this.
게임이 시작됩니다.
Hurricane.
What are you giggling about?
I'll tell you.
People can hear your little laugh sniffles over there.
Well, I'm really going over that game in my head a little bit more.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I love FanTaSy. He is one of my favorite Terran players of all time. Okay. I'm excited for him to be in StarCraft 2. We don't need him in StarCraft 1. We got basically every big name. I'm glad to have someone of this caliber from StarCraft 1 in StarCraft 2 active and really loving the game. It's amazing. His build was not really mapped out well. I'm surprised he actually brought it because think of this for a second, right? Hurricane went for a safe opener into a normal timed third.
Yeah.
He had a forge, okay? This wasn't just an all-in. He had +1 armor done, and then he was getting into +1 attack when this all went down, right? He had a good probe saturation, and FanTaSy just died to like basically a regular build with an attack that came out.
Yeah.
Hurricane killed him and didn't even know he was going mech, okay?
Yeah.
So FanTaSy was dead. Right? This is why I was
giggling. He got the Warp Prism made. He goes, factories.
Yeah.
And then the game ends.
Yeah. And so, like, Hurricane literally didn't even know what he was doing.
Yeah.
Didn't even know. Doesn't matter. Whatever.
Well, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
What I'm trying to point out here is that you can't blame anything here on, like, balance or anything. FanTaSy didn't know where he was. You can tell it wasn't super mapped out, right? Now that that happened, I bet you next time he does it on King's Cove, an SCV goes around to find out if that army's waiting there.
Well, that can happen. I mean, it's kind of an elementary way to lose the game, but yeah, I mean, if you're expanding, you didn't know their army was right there. Oh, nice, killed the Reaper. If you weren't ready, I mean, what are you gonna do?
Well,
it's just the thing is that's how people lose at every level of play. You're just like, oh, an army. Yeah.
So, well, that happens sometimes. That's okay. All right, so, the bunker coming up. Oh. How sad is that?
All right. Best action sequence ever.
Get in there. Okay. So, Robo's coming up. Nothing seems too weird on either side.
Oh. He says touche.
He's like, you know what? Worked really well that last game, the Widowmine drop. Let me do that again.
Yeah. That was crazy because he actually got the medevac in the middle of the map.
Yeah, well, FanTaSy got, like, I guess, a little bit greedy on
Here's a question.
when he turned it. Yeah.
It seems like, and I know a lot of this was related to trying to catch an Oracle, but should we still have Widow Mines just planted randomly on the map, maybe to catch armies or warp prisms and stuff like that? Because that kind of went away. And I know that the players are going for blink, so yeah, I mean, if you're watching and your reaction time is perfect, you could blink away as the missile's going to connect with your army. But is there any merit to this? Because we know that, even though we talk so much about StarCraft being a game of perfect strategies or micro, sometimes it's also about just having your opponent's screen in the wrong place.
Sure.
And,
sure.
you know, something happens and they weren't there to actually deal with it.
I would say right now Oracle builds aren't really all that strong. When they were completely the meta, it was really cool to see someone like Gumiho place them in such interesting locations to catch them and everything. But
that's actually not quite what I meant, but I think we already have this fight going on, so we'll have to get back to that in a second. This is a very cool little harass.
Yeah.
Shoot, 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 shoot. Look at this.
Yeah, he's getting some damage.
It's like, I'm going to drop this stuff out here.
Now, over here.
I won't lose any of my units. Okay, so this is a funny spot.
Yeah, but let's see what the drop does.
Okay. Again, really great control here. I don't... Oh, my God.
Oh, he was really slow on burrowing the second one.
Oh, my God, that's so sick. He unburrows the second one because it's grouped as it's running away. So it actually connects with even more on the way back.
Okay, a lot of SCDs actually going down here.
The,
great
so
disable.
Sick.
Great disable, but maybe not enough SCDs on it for that. Oh, gosh.
Okay. All right, we'll just go ahead and do a warp in now. There you go. Yeah, you should be able to take this out.
Okay,
oh, my God, he does it.
But the amount of damage done can't be taken back, Tasteless.
That's right. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. You can't put
get
the toothpaste
SCDs back on the mineral line.
That's right. Can't put the toothpaste back in the tube.
My God.
Oh, my God.
23 SCVs. 23 Tasteless dead. Gone forever.
So what I actually meant when I was talking about the going Widow Mines and hiding them, I actually meant just trying to hide them for harass like this. Not to like try to fight oracles, just like put them in the corner of a base. Because so often we have like players just going like, I'm going to blink in with stalkers, or I'm going to try to bring a warp prism in. Instead of actually sending them across the map, do you think it might be a good idea to try to just like basically hard counter these attacks because they're coming out anyways?
Well, I think it has to do with factory build times, right? Like, when are you able to make those mines? Because they have to be made at specific times. Because right now, factory units early game are so important. So, I mean, it's an interesting idea. It's like, do you need the siege tank? Do you need the cyclone? I think that those are probably the questions you have to ask first before spreading mines too liberally. Because, like, there's been points in the meta where you're not really making siege tanks or cyclones in the early game. And I think that the mines were more useful then. Oh, my God.
Uh-oh. It's a warp prism with something.
Yeah. Look
this
at
time it's a
Choyo over
Colossus.
here.
Yeah. I've got beef with this depot. Oh, good, you guys. This looks so weird.
We were made from the same metal factory. This depot talks about my Colossus mother.
Everything is like below where the thing's attacking. His back is facing the entire army. It actually looks way funnier.
It's so stupid looking. Just like, is this really what you intended?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, gosh. Well, he's still getting work done with these Widow Mines.
One probe at a time.
Wait, Thermalance is going to be done, and this guy is coming back with a vengeance. Look at that flame that just stayed above the prism. I love it. I love that we have graphical glitches sometimes. Remember that Reaper that just went up to heaven when it died?
Oh, yeah, yeah. This is a moment where it's like when they would try to put like a 1/16 of a second of popcorn in the frame of a movie.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see a Colossus back there?
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I'm
thirsty.
feeling like taking a Colossi in this game.
I'm thirsty for some Mountain Dew. All right, so the mines, I mean, the mines did pretty well.
Oh, no. Is it a glitch in the Matrix? Oh, no, it's not, actually, because he's not going to get that. Okay.
Don't forget this started with like 23 SCVs dying.
Yep. Okay, so Terran's going to push out. This is a very balanced army, by the way, from Terran.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
You got to have a very complete Protoss army to fight this off. Marines, a decent amount of Marauders and tanks with medevacs here, too.
Seems to me that the medevac is where he might get the real damage done. I don't think that this army is actually big enough to kill the third.
All right, here comes the hero unit, Colossicane.
Colossicane?
Yeah, that's Hurricane's Colossus here.
Oh, Colossicane, I get it.
He was the rejected Transformer in Michael Bay's movies. He never got to be in a Anything of significance. Oh my God. Great play. He took that out.
Unfortunately, drops this drop on top of Photon Cannon and Zealot. Oh, that could be a good place. Get rid of that pylon.
Is he unloading there? Yeah, he is. He is. Actually, I think he might get that. There's no way to get Zealots back there.
Yeah, that one Zealot's not going to be able to defend against that. Wow, look at this. A big push here into the natural.
This is going to get chased away. The question is, where's it going to go? Oh, he's actually fished out a decent amount of the army here.
Look at those siege tanks. Just go to town on Colossacane's brother.
That's right. Oh, no. Or he's disabled him.
The depot sends his regards.
After we avenge the depot, we're going to salt the earth where this base was built so no one can ever live here again.
We're going to observe 3 seconds of burrowed depots for our fallen friend.
I think actually FanTaSy's going to bust him here.
This is so wild that he's doing so well after losing 27 SCVs or whatever it was.
No, hold on. A lot of this comes down to the fact that those tanks are so well placed. He can't get back over there. The Templar Archive is being remade, so Templar Tech is kind of out of the question. Okay, now hold on. Oh my God!
Oh my God!
Still alive!
Well, I think that FanTaSy still got it. Step 1, lose 27 SCVs to a Prism and Gateway units without upgrades. Step 2, roll through. Roll through the Colossus,
such a weird game.
Oh my God.
I think basically Protoss had the lead, guys, and then he actually overextended, I think, a lot of different directions. I think he was too confident, and so the counterattack actually was good. Although I'll tell you what, FanTaSy placed the tanks very well. He did some great disables there with the Raven on the 2 Colossi, on Colossacane's twin younger brothers. And
Colossacane was really out of line there, man.
Yeah. And I think Hurricane's going to be kicking himself for that because, again, I mean, Game 1 was won by Hurricane pretty cleanly, and frankly, I think Game 2 was already won by Hurricane again, but he didn't. You can take all the proper steps.
You can look at his face and see
that's,
that he thinks that too.
I should not have lost
really?
that.
Like, aren't I supposed to just win after I kill that many SCVs? Well, FanTaSy doing a very good job of coming back there. I'm quite impressed.
Cyber Forest for map 3. By the way,
it was either that or New Repugnancy.
It certainly wouldn't have been any of our 2 new maps that we really want to explore. Yeah. Okay, so Fiber Source. Cyber Forest it is. Let's go into Game 3. Hurricane versus FanTaSy.
게임이 시작됩니다.
Hurricane. Player 1, FanTaSy.
Okay, back. What did I miss?
We've actually had this theme here with 2 of our players in this group. Both RagnaroK and Hurricane are playing way better than I think you or I are used to when we cast them. But I'm sure for the people watching at home or in the studio, if you've been following StarCraft 2 for a while, you probably had a certain view of those 2 players. You root for them, especially because they're underdogs, and but they're not bad, but they don't perform as well as the other players. But now they're both looking very strong.
Yeah, for a long time there, they were chum, you know?
Yeah.
Terrence is
Protoss scum.
Excellent.
Take that, Terrence. Thanks for coming down, buddy. From Portugal to watch GSL. Thank you for coming down.
Yeah.
So happy you guys are here. This is just, it's so cool how international our audience is.
Yeah, it really is.
So, this time around we had Hurricane. Actually, in both games back there, we had strats where Hurricane actually, like, his strategy worked, basically.
Yeah.
Like, that rush worked with the War Prism.
Worked with a capital W.
Yeah.
But it didn't translate into a capital W, did it?
Yeah, it worked. It's like when you you capitalize, uncapitalize, capitalize, uncapitalize to create a kind of sarcasm by the end of the game. You see that in memes, Artosis?
Do I see that in memes?
You see those memes where they change the spelling? They lowercase the first part.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like...
Yeah.
It initially worked just capitalized with the W, but later on it actually... We had to change
I thought that was
font.
just how Protoss is typed.
Yeah, that's how they think, Artosis.
That's definitely how
that's
they
all
think.
the thoughts come out.
Well, we won't see anything quite like... Oh, look at that. He started a sentry, canceled it, threw down a robo. Maybe some indecision.
Some robbery. Factory is coming down here for the Terran. We're going to have a little bit of a slow period. We really want to watch that robotics tech and figure out, okay, what exactly is going to come out from this. How many Immortals? When is the War Prism going to come? When does he make the Observer to spot what the Terran's up to?
You have a lot of questions, Tasteless. How about the answers, though?
How about those answers? I won't stop casting until I get to the bottom of this game, Artosis.
No, probably not even then.
I'm no gumshoe.
Yeah. Look at this. He's going Widow Mines again. This is just what he likes.
So our first Immortal has started. Remember that in Game 1 we had infantry come out, and then it was a mech switch, and Hurricane didn't even know it, but his attack worked anyways and just ran over FanTaSy.
Why is he making an Immortal?
Yeah, that's actually not what I
Immortals
expected.
are good, but like, oh, you know what? He's going to go Prism after this.
Mm-hmm. So
and he's just going to go.
He's going to send that Immortal across the map, and he's going to have the ability to juggle. Now, keep in mind, you can attack the front and then cycle into the main with a build like this. He also made a hallucinated Oracle just for the scout here, and that's his workaround to not having an observer right away.
Yeah. Okay, he throws up a pylon to watch for that incoming drop. But yeah, this should be an attack coming up. It's interesting. Maybe he just feels like FanTaSy is a little bit weak in the early game. He gets so technical with everything.
Well, this is pretty ineffectual so far as far as attack goes. I guess he's not going to attack out over here with the Immortal. He's going to stay back and actually defend.
That's interesting. To make an Immortal.
Sorry for the misread there, guys. Well, hold on. Now he's pulling away.
Dude, he has 4 gates and an Immortal and a Prism. Like, this isn't a build if he doesn't attack.
Yeah.
It's not a build.
Well, it's just weird because he also made a third Nexus here. So this is kind of like an everything build. But I guess if Terran doesn't come out and punish it, it's a Terran loses in every way loss.
Yeah, I'm not
sure.
Terran
is coming out though.
Such a weird play here by Hurricane. I'm not really like, huh? I mean, this push that's coming up shouldn't be an issue.
Uh-oh.
That's for sure.
Okay. Not bad. Get some of those Marines on the other side. Immortal is going to target down that tank. Oh my God, the Immortal dies, and the tank lives for at least for a little bit.
Yeah, he does target that down, and now it's just a bunch of Marines without stim, so he should be fine there. Nice Liberator, though, coming around the side.
Again, without the Immortal there, the second tank is actually more of a threat here. Stalkers alone are not going to cut it. Stimless Marines for the win, guys.
I guess so.
This is where FanTaSy pushes up, and just like what happened in Game 1, only in reverse, he goes, oh, third Nexus.
All right, well, the Liberator continuing to do its stuff. Kind of a weird attack. He came down the ramp, put a force field on the tank, lost the sentry, and went back up the ramp.
Yeah. Now, there's not as much sustain here with this attack for the Terran. If you can get the right units out, the problem is... Okay, hold on. Here we go.
The Stalkers tank quite a bit of damage right there. He
Great
does
control
flank.
here by Hurricane.
Yeah, seems like he should be able to hold on. What's his economy looking like behind this, I wonder?
Well, it's 43 workers to 51, but
how many of them are mining, though, Tasis?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, and how many of these SVs are not mining? Here we got 3 that are just going to go into the army and die.
Well, maybe they're going to go mine. We don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know what his plan was. That one has minerals. Where'd it get it, Tasis?
It was stolen. It was pickpocketed.
Someone else dropped it. It's like capture the flag.
Okay, this game is so weird.
Yeah, very, very different
Let's
opening.
see.
I haven't seen anyone just open like Immortal, Prism, 4-gate, and then stay at home. But I guess, I mean, he knew that the medevac was on the map. I don't know.
This is a blind spot in the Terran's base. Oh, but he's not going to try to surprise warp in there. You know, there's not very much back home for Terran here.
He's got to be careful with this. Oh my god.
Can he just do a warp in? Is he just going to go for it?
No.
All right.
Leave my warp prism alone.
Two very slow units in a chase here. That's what we've got. Okay, now the front is actually pretty well defended.
Yeah, he can't be broken.
But, you know, Protoss seems to have enough muscle that you probably can't expand that easily. Stim is only just starting, too. I mean, we're already almost to 8 minutes, and Stim has only just begun.
Yeah, we don't have Blink right now for Hurricane, so...
He's fine. He's got a Warp Prism.
He's playing a bit low tech.
It's better than Blink. It's Blink with Warpins.
That's true. Slightly harder to do.
Okay, now the Zealots are going to come forward here.
Wow, that is a lot of Zealots.
Oh!
Tank on low ground doing a great job. Now he doesn't have his sentry anymore.
Yep, but guess what?
No more Stim.
No more Stim.
FanTaSy doesn't even like Stim.
Yeah. He's going to have to go mech now, or Toast, and float all those barracks across the map.
That would be amazing with 1-1 upgrades. Yeah, very carefully taking care of this.
Yeah, he's got to not overextend. Now, eventually, this will have to be recalled back home.
Yeah. The Prism is gone. Oh, the waits for the charge and actually goes right in. Very nice.
He needs to recall fast. Uh-oh, doesn't get those Zealots. That's unfortunate. What a funny game.
I feel like FanTaSy is playing a bit better than Hurricane overall. Definitely it is a very weird game. I'm interested to think to know what Hurricane was thinking to open, what that was all about. Probably just reactionary, but right now he is getting some really great upgrades. Blink is going to be finishing up. Psystorm about halfway. He's getting +2 armor as well.
Damn! I almost choked on my water there for a second when I saw that coming in. Man, he's going to try to unload over here. Templars are coming out. Well, we've got the Immortals coming in here on the high ground. This is a great bust here by Hurricane. Masterfully executed. Even though he disables the warp in, we already have those tanks killed, and I think it should be easy for Protoss to try to push up even further here. But the two Immortals actually isolated down here.
Yeah, and he lost
as
the
Viking
prism.
Shoots that down.
It was such a nice disable right there.
Blink is done. Storm is almost done.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot to defend besides workers and infantry, so Storm in the next 5 seconds is going to be incredibly strong. Oh, you have a Storm. Please use it.
Just then. Well, that last Storm was very good. Okay, he's killed 24 SCVs. This is a prerequisite for FanTaSy winning, right?
Yeah, that's right. If it's anything like the last game. Now look at this club. If he storms that, oh. And you know, with no artillery here, no siege weapon, it's hard to, you know, not drive the Protoss out here. And so Protoss decides to just regroup. Already killing 25 SCVs, punting the command center back up towards the main. I think it's about to land again here. But this is getting worse and worse and worse for FanTaSy. FanTaSy needs to get a third very quickly, or he's going to be in economic quicksand.
He's just now going to be finishing up Stim.
Okay, so he's going to try to be a sneaky snake.
Oh, it's not a bad plan, I think. You've got to take a few risks here.
And sometimes this will end up just not getting noticed, even though it's...
Yeah.
You know, there's so much going on here. It may look like, in fact, FanTaSy's just staying on 2 base for longer, but at the same time, he's moving out, which I don't know why he would do, because that's how the Protoss is then going to kill the army here.
Yeah, he needs to be very careful with this.
Ouch.
Oh my gosh. Well, hopefully his medevac in the bottom right or bottom left rather, can do something, because he doesn't have a whole lot of options right now. And Hurricane on 4 bases, continuing his upgrades, is looking really good.
Ouch. Well, you know, from the low ground, it's very easy to storm this. There's no tanks here or anything to drive this away, so you can kind of just warp in and punish. So this should be the end of this game. We have a small drop coming in here at the bottom right. I can't imagine this would have the impact needed to turn a game like this on its head.
Yeah. Having a hard time chewing through these Archons. Just so much help. Oh, beautiful
Great
juggle back as
control,
well.
wow. It's just a matter of time before the Warpins can actually drive that drop away.
Yeah, and I think that's about it. The Prophecy tasteless. 2 Protosses in the winter match.
And let's not forget Colossicane, the hero unit from Game 2.
I don't think we're going to see him in this PvP coming up.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
All right, FanTaSy, just like it did in Brood War, he's not leaving.
Yeah. Well, he does have that hidden base, right? So
yeah.
There's always hope. That's why he said he did it, is because like sometimes you'll have a hidden base, and if you leave games quickly all the time and then you don't once, they're going to know that you have a base.
Yeah, it's true.
Here you just expect him to never leave because he's fantasy. Oh, he's building 3 depots.
Yep. All right.
Still supply
Sorry,
block.
everybody. Yeah. So eventually, Protoss will have enough to actually run up a ramp that's walled in and everything else.
Did you see that?
No, I did not.
No, he didn't either.
But what was it?
He just ran an army by the CC, but it didn't have vision.
Oh, how funny. So Hurricane will be going on to the winners match. We'll be having a PvP next here against Classic.
How dare you call this game over?
Yeah.
How dare you?
It's my bias. I mean, it's still a game of chance, but I'm such a Hurricane fan.
Yeah.
It's hard to cast and not cheer.
Man, fantasy trying so hard to stay alive.
All right, buddy. It's 172 supply at 86. This is...
He's...
All right.
Well, what about those 2 Liberators? Can they do it?
Well, let's find out. There's no way to know until we watch. Okay, GG. Hurricane wins that series 2-1. Fantasy is not out. He will, of course, be facing off against RagnaroK.
A very nice close stage so far. I mean, I think both these matches are up for grabs. Hurricane has to be feeling good after that Game 2 loss that it didn't seem like he should lose.
Yeah, some highs and some lows there in that game, but
yeah, peaks and valleys.
Ups and downs.
Ins and
We're
outs.
going to go to a short break. When we come back, Hurricane versus Classic will be coming up next.